the whole purpose of competition and the team is to be a better farrier. So a lot of what we practice with is just our everyday work. We share what we do every day, and we nitpick the little things that we need to do to be better farriers every day. So you're constantly improving and showing your work, and I think you're trying to be a better farrier, and in turn, hopefully you're showing your horses.
There's a period of time in the beginning when the new team is made at convention that it's a little, not really awkward, but you're not quite bonded, you're not a family yet. And then hopefully soon after that point, you come together and there's a lot of team bonding. And then after that, like your family, you call everybody and you talk on the phone and you keep everybody accountable. And it's just good having 4 other guys holding you accountable and sending pictures on the group text of feet, sending pictures of shoes. It's great.
Yeah, it's like the best way to explain it's like having 5 brothers hanging around each other. There are days where you might have 2 of us rolling around on the ground trying to kill each other. And then an hour later, everybody's eating dinner and laughing and joking. So emotions play into it because you're putting everything you have into it. And if it's just not good enough that day, their job is not to pat you on the back and say, oh, you're doing great. Their job is to tell you, well, you suck today, but tomorrow will be better. But it is a family. Like, we know each other's kids, their wives, and their birthdays. It's not just when we talk on the phone, it's a lot about shoeing, but probably 80% of it is, how's your truck doing? You talk to your daddy. How's your mama doing? It's just, you wind up being a family. And that's why when you're off of the team, like, so Ben and them are old teammates of mine. And so it's just like walking into a family reunion. When we're around each other, how are the kids? They're getting big, so it's, because if you think about it, we're here for 3 days. We're doing 4 runs. Well, that's only really a total of maybe 12 hours. The rest of the time we're sitting around talking, eating, hanging out.
When you enter the shop and it's practice day, you've laughed, you've cut up, you've had supper, all the fun and games. But when it's practice day, if it's somebody hollering across the room like, go check that trim, you're high here, or that shoe's not good, make another one, or that fit is this or whatever, it's not personal. It's about the team. It's about doing good for the whole. And if you do good for the whole, and that's your true objective, then it pushes you to push them to be better. They push you to be better, so everybody comes up. So it's just understanding that at the end of the day, you're all gonna be friends, family, actually. But during the practice, during the goes, during the contest, it's all about doing what's best to get the best outcome. And I think when people have that attitude and willing to sacrifice and go that direction, I think you can't help but succeed as an individual and a team.
We practice a lot, getting together a lot and running a lot of time goes. You learn where to be and when to be there, and you get to where you don't bump into each other near as much, just repetition. And choreographing, you run into somebody the first go, you're both trying to get into the vise. You're like, hey, if I do this at this time, it'll give him 10 minutes in the vise, and then when I need it, he won't be in it, and he's already on to the next stage. So choreographing is a really, really big deal. And then once you get it choreographed, you just practice it and run the go over and over and over and over until it's perfection.
Each man has to learn to do his own job. Like, you have to put in maximum effort on your job, but you also have to be willing to sacrifice for your teammates. So if you need to give up a little time, so maybe your teammate's a little slower or struggles with something, a certain aspect, you just have to balance it to where it doesn't do any good to have one person on the team score bad and one person on the team score great. If you can balance everybody out to where everybody runs an average, then that's when the team do good.
Just what I've learned in trimming alone is just amazing. The detail
the devil is in the details. And when you're amongst the group of guys that are at basically what I would consider the tip of the spear, they pick up on the details, the nuances that you get lost in the woods. You just don't see sometimes, you know. You start getting in habits, and I think when you notice that all of your feet start to look the same, something went wrong, because all feet are different.
I'm just looking at the details way more than I used to. There's just so many things I just didn't even know about or see that make the overall job so much better. And it just keeps you in check, make sure that the basics are always there, because it seems like no matter what level you are, the basics are most important. So I really just feel like it's simplified my everyday work to where I'm looking at the basics and trying to do them the best I can. And that sounds easy, but it's definitely not.
The keys to success are being willing to accept corrective criticism in a positive way. Being willing to admit that, you know what, there's a lot left to learn. I am amazed every day after 36 years of doing this, what I don't know surprises me. The learning curve is extreme and steep, but a really good one. I'm amazed at just what I've learned in the last 4 or 5 months just being on the team.
If you're on the fence about it and you're nervous and thinking, man, I don't want them to think that I'm not good or whatever. We all get in our head, and we're all kind of scared to take that first step. But in reality, they'll welcome you. You know, certification, the contest. I've never seen anybody walk up to either and them like, no, you can't do it. Just do it. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed, and nobody wants to force anybody to fail. Everybody wants to bring everybody up. That's why this trade is so unique and so cool. Like, we're actually encouraging and rooting for our competitors, whether it's in the contest arena or day-to-day shooting. You know, like, you don't see a whole lot of other trades doing that, and we're forcing our competitors to be better, which makes us better. So it's all good. So if somebody's on the fence about it, just try it. Just jump in there, and it's a little bit. It becomes part of it. I mean, you'll enjoy it. I've never seen anybody go to a certification and work toward their CF, CJF, or anything, and then once they get it, turn out like, I wish I didn't do that. You know, I've never seen anybody go to a contest and then put a good effort in of making the shoes, win, lose, or draw. They do it. Their first contest was a novice or D1 or the open or whatever level. And then on their way home thinking, I wish I didn't do that. There's going to be some aspect that you enjoyed that you take away, whether it was the actual contest, being on the floor competing in the trenches in the moment, or it might be the people you met, the new connections. It might be that one little tidbit that you learn on what you can do for so-and-so horse when you get home to help it, or it might just be the laughs and the jokes and the atmosphere that you take away, and it gives you a shot in the arm, you know? So I've never seen anybody go to any type of continuing education or contest where they just walk away saying, man, I haven't done that. So my advice is jump in there, reach out to somebody, and just start. It's all about the journey.